Which one, sir?
Because one of the two of the people you're repatriating were Americans. And why would we leave our locals and we go for American citizens? Anyway, that's okay. It will help us. Because he wanted us that have been bashed. When he was speaking now, he said, no, don't look only that. These are the numbers they have done. And we see those people, that's why we invited them to be here to carry the message.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, colleagues, we have to move on. Okay, yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, you had requested information about UNAFRI, but I can give a brief background. This committee is set up as subcommittee, which I led to find out about police land, which had appeared in the audit report. So when we went to police, we realized that Ministry of Internal Affairs, together with Foreign Affairs, without police's involvement, gave land to UNAFRI, which land had police buildings and other infrastructure, including a school.
Yes.
The activity was supposed to be for police to benefit and Uganda as a whole in crime prevention. What UNAFRI did, got this land, leased it to carbons, a project which is not at all related to the intended purpose. So what we want to find out, how Ugandans are benefiting from the carbons, what comes out of the carbons, whether it is benefiting police or me as a Ugandan. Mr. Chairman, you sent us to carry out that task, and we wouldn't have brought this here, but because you are here and to avoid the duplication, we are intending to have a meeting with Internal Affairs, Foreign Affairs, Police, and if you can allow, even UNAFRI, because these transactions seemed to be not related. Somebody who has been given land goes to Uganda Land Commission to do an activity, goes to Uganda Land Commission and leases the land which does not even belong to him. And for an activity like selling cars, there are two carbons, the UASA and another one is called the Future Company. So it was somehow strange. That is something we want to get information about.
Yes, accounting officer, do you have an idea?
Yes, I can give you a brief, if you will allow me to in a summary, but I'll please give you something. UNAFRI is an intergovernmental organization.
What is it in full?
United Nations African Institute for the Prevention of Crime and the Treatment of Offenders. It is a United Nations body. It's not Uganda.
Yes.
Okay.
For prevention of crime.
So it's an international intergovernmental organization which aims at promoting active cooperation between governments, academic institutions, NGOs, and experts in the area of crime prevention and criminal justice. It was established pursuant to several legislative mandates of the United Nations General Assembly, the Economic Commission for Africa, and the AU Council of Ministers So it was formally established as a legal entity. Mr. Chairman, I will share with you.
That will be good.
I'll share with you as a legal entity in accordance with the stipulation of its statute of 20th February 1989. Now, UNAFRI, in fulfilling its mandate, is supposed to conduct research in priority areas in Africa, on the basis of which policies and programs are formulated for prevention of crime and strengthening of criminal justice systems. And it's also mandated to design and conduct training in criminal justice and promotion of exchange and transfer of knowledge and expertise and experiences. So it is supposed to collaborate with other institutions and agencies for the benefit of global crime prevention. UNAFRI is for Africa. We have another agency similar to that for Asia. We have another one like that for Latin America. We have another one like that for Europe. So these are all UN agencies in different areas for the same thing. Now, the membership is open to all member states of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. So all the African countries can participate in this UNAFRI, but of the 54 African countries, only 29 so far have acceded to the statute which established this institute. The names are in this, which I'll give to you. And the hosting of UNAFRI in Uganda, Uganda campaigned, like you have all these agencies. We campaigned to host UNAFRI in Uganda, and this was agreed upon by the Conference of Ministers of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa in a resolution in 1988. And Uganda was selected to host this institute. But there were other countries which wanted to host this institute. There was Zambia, there was Tanzania, there was Djibouti, there was Morocco, there was Egypt, there was Nigeria.
What about Kenya?
No, on this one Kenya did not. So these were the ones who competed. And we had to give something to be able to host this. Now, but before I go into that detail, there's the management of UNAFRI. It is managed by a governing board of ministers from the member countries. It is governed by a governing council of ministers. So, Minister of Internal Affairs, my minister also participates, representing Uganda, as we have other ministers from other countries. And the chair of their governing board, until recently, was the foreign minister of Malawi. But in February this year, at the governing council which took place in Addis Ababa, leadership of the governing council moved to DRC. Now it's the minister of DRC who is the what? Chair of the governing council, which is the overall body supervising this. Now, there is supposed to be a technical advisory committee, and if you look at the secretariat which is here in Uganda, it's supposed to have a director who is not a Ugandan. The deputy is Ugandan, should be Ugandan because we're the host country. And it's supposed to have international staff, 5 of them, who are non-Ugandans, to head the 5 different clusters of the areas that it works in. And so the financing of the institute comes mostly from the United Nations, which gives a grant of $208,000 per annum. And we always go to New York during the discussions of the UN budget to defend the budget for UNAFRI, to ask for more resources. And then the other source of funding is member states' contributions. Unfortunately, many member states have not been contributing to this UNAFRI. Uganda is also a member, it also contributes. And now that's what's going to bring me to the issue of rentals, which we were talking about, of those lands to UWASA and Future. I will come to that specifically a little in the brief. So, the funding situation for UNAFRI has been bad. They have been struggling. Originally, it was funded by the UNDP, which gave a project of about $2.4 million to cover their operations. That one ended. And in spite of what the United Nations provides, we've had challenges with UNAFRI. The last director who was in Uganda, I think left after about 3 months. If you go to Naguru, you see the accommodation which is they have there, those houses. The director left after about 2 months, never came back. So we've no director from outside. It's the financial condition of the institute, which is a problem. Then we had our Ugandan, Mr. Kisembo, who was acting, he was the deputy, but acting all this time, and unfortunately we lost him.
He died?
Yes, Kisembo. He died about a year and a half ago. So now we have somebody acting. But Kisembo was the substantive deputy director in the absence of a director who, after a few months, just left. The terms and the conditions were not favorable. And we have yet to recruit somebody in that position. So, the major constraint of the function of the Institute has been the non-payment of annual assessed contributions by the majority of these 29 states. Actually, out of the 29, only 7 member states, only 7 have made. Out of the 29, 7 member states have never made any remittance towards that. Never. Of course, Uganda, as the host, we continue to make our contribution. So, as of 31st December 2019, out of the total annual assessed contributions of $19 million, so far signed up member states have paid only $5.4 million, which has been received, leaving an outstanding balance of about $13 million. Non-payment of annual assessed financial contributions by most of the member states is what has adversely affected implementation of the several programs by UNAFRI. So the challenges, like I've said, inadequate financial resources, lack of international professional staff, absence of a director, and the recent death of our colleague who had been acting, Mr. Kisembo, lack of a technical advisory committee, and limited support from the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa and the African Union Commission. So now coming to the point you raised, Mr. Chairman, during the 7th extraordinary meeting of the governing board, which was held on 18th February in Addis Ababa, a new chairman of the board was elected, that is the DRC. The recommendation of the review committee were adopted, and they included a number of things. The establishment of a technical advisory committee to fast track the appointment of a substantive director and the deputy, which post is now vacant. Preparation of a concept note which will provide strategic direction for the next 5 years. And calling upon member states with accumulated arrears, which now stand at $13 million, to clear those dues. And it even went further to suggest and recommend that those member states who are willing to second their nationals at their cost to come and take some of these professional jobs, do so. But what UNAFRI has been able to do, they have been completing the perimeter wall. They have renovated 2 residential houses, which they have in preparation for welcoming a new director once appointed. One of the houses which was located to them, they're procuring a number of equipments, and they have finalized every 2 years they submit a report to the UN about the activities which will be considered in October this year. Now, the history of this land, it has actually been discussed many times. So, as part of the conditions for hosting UNAFRI in Uganda, Uganda offered the institute the whole of the Nakuru Police Training College as its home for UNAFRI. When you are competing with Kenya, you make offers, and so Uganda offered that, the police training college as the home. But you also need to note that there are other police land in Nakuru, such as the Ntinda Police Barracks, the Inspectorate of Vehicles.
Let us first talk about this.
Auntie,
He's building the case, he's cutting. He's saying they offered the whole police training.
that is what was offered by Uganda and Nakuru.
And the police training school includes what?
I'm excluding the others now. There are other lands in Nakuru which belong to police, like the Ntinda Barracks, the Inspectorate of Vehicles, the police signals land, and the police air wing. But only the police training college land was given to UNAFRI.
Where the IOV was?
IOV is across the road, it's not part of it. It's not part of it. So
it has been eaten by UNOWA, and police is also using it to the road.
So, there are a list of other items, but now that you have mentioned interest, we shall get all this for you, Mr. Chairman. Now, a list of other items are built on UNAFRI. They are contained in the host agreement report. Now, the government was to give to the institute a certificate of title after surveying and evaluating that land. Now, from 1989 to 2011, the institute was appealing to government to avail it with the certificate of title of the former college without much success, and went ahead to repossess part of that land of the former college. This is now taking back what we had offered at the beginning as government. However, after intervention by the UNAFRI governing board, this is now the ministerial meeting. During the 11th board meeting in Nairobi, Uganda availed the institute a 99-year lease on 1st March 2011. That is the position that was now left with UNAFRI. We shall be able to get these details. Now, earlier between 1992 and 2000,
99-year lease.
yes,
Was given to who?
UNAFRI, United Nations African Institute.
By who?
By
Government of Uganda.
government of Uganda.
Because the condition for having UNAFRI in Uganda was you must give it a home. And we gave it to police training school. We were supposed to give them a title. We never gave them the title for all those years. In the meantime, some bits were removed.
By who?
Well, I have to check who on that one. So, but the truth is that in 2011, when the title was given, what was given is what UNAFRI has now.
Doesn't have the carbon.
It has that.
It has leased.
May I complete, sir?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead. You brought it today, you have to be patient, eh? Don't be like Nabila.
When you lease something or you sublease, you still own.
Yeah, you own.
And you are still getting revenue out of that sublease. And so, between 1992 and 2007, due to lack of both operational and development funds, the institute, with authority from the governing board, which I've referred to earlier.
Which year was that now?
This is between 1992 and 2007. They decided to sublease some of the unoccupied land in order to generate additional revenue to fund activities of the institute. And the following properties were subleased by the institute. You talked of UASA Investments, it is there. You talked of Future Group. Those two have got subleases and they are paying money to UNAFRI for those subleases.
In short, we had given them too much.
No.
Yes.
I don't.
You honorably excess. No, Ambassador, they are fair. We are giving them to my daughter. Go
I
ahead.
cannot talk for them. I'm reporting, sir.
Okay, well, go ahead. But that's what you can read.
As requested.
Okay, go ahead, yes.
So the Institute reports to its governing council.
Remember, there was no director. The acting one was Kisemba, Uganda.
Yes.
Okay, well, go ahead.
Yes, sir. The Institute reports to the governing council on its financial management as well as programs. It does not report to us.
But our Minister of Foreign Affairs is a member of governing what?
So internal affairs, yes. The governing council
And Minister of Internal
last
Affairs.
met in February this year. But the issues of finance were not discussed during that. Maybe I would have been able to say more. But issues of finance were not on the agenda for that. And so that's what I can tell you now at the short notice about UNAFRI.
It looks you are aware of the question.
No, we have been engaging with UNAFRI a lot, leading to this meeting in Addis Ababa. Because as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, we are concerned about the operations of UNAFRI.
We may have made a loss.
That's possible.
Because if we can release our land, we should have put on another public use, we have made a loss. Have you seen where Foreign Affairs is? That was the Ministry of Finance parking. If we had also sold, where would you have built?
Leased or sold?
No, if it had been whatever. Okay, leased for 99 years. You're aware of that.
The leases for these two companies not 99 years. The 99 years is for UNAFRI. The sub-leases are not 99 years. I think they are 49 around.
That's a lot of years. No,
I am
To be sure.
No, it's okay, Florence. It's okay. Give us.
Do I have a copy?
We shall run copies. Don't worry. No, don't worry. I can't think. But they're about to get finished. Whether you know what, they're about to get finished. Colleagues, on this one, I think Ambassador promised to give us more documents.
I will.
What you do, give us the whole chronological issues,
Yes, sir.
the files you have, that the certificates which were given, the resolutions, and the sub-leases up to date, so that we are able to make an informed point of view. I think if you went
But with your permission, Chair, I would also recommend that you engage Minister of Internal Affairs.
we shall. Let us get our site. We're going to go for a Minister of Internal Affairs. Most likely by tomorrow, we're writing to them to give us what they know about UNAFRI. Okay. I think we have to send a letter today to them to know what happened to UNAFRI and the land. Okay. Meanwhile, we're getting that, so you have to attach copies of those titles and also look at it.
I will get them from UNAFRI.
But the other one I saw had it.
Which one?
I saw some black things at the back.
No. This is something different.
That's why I can see it. It is something important. That's why I was interested in that file.
No,
now you have removed it.
No, this is the same document you have.
Yes.
These ones, it was in 1992.
The resolutions.
There was a request by UNAFRI to the Minister of Internal Affairs about the use of the facilities that have been given to them by the government of Uganda. And I think it will show you how Minister of Internal Affairs indicated to UNAFRI how they can use that land, which could have led to what you are talking about.
Okay, the director was
At that time, it was a Nigerian
know the name. Who stayed on it for a few days. This thing has been around for long, huh?
Yes, Chair. So that's what I can say for now, but I'll get additional information as requested.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The intention of having US and Future Group was to get out money to run to support activities. You look at the amount of money that is coming out monthly. That is 4 million shillings. And then you give out to Future Group, they are paying 1.5 million per month. I don't know how much we are going to achieve from renting out, or we cannot think otherwise. Secondly, how much of the intended objective of this project have we achieved? At least those can give us.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, as I alluded in my remarks, not very detailed, UNAFRI has been limping, if I can describe it like that. Not much has been happening at that institute. A lot due to financial constraints which have been experienced by the institute. So I do agree with what you are saying, but those are issues which have been addressed by the last governing council, and if you look at the way forward, I think some effort is going to be put to put some of those right, but a lot depends on the commitment of the membership. It is our organization. Are we committed to it as ECA, Economic Commission of Africa? Out of 54 countries, only 29 are contributing, 7 have never paid anything. So I think it has a bigger question that needs to be answered. But I do appreciate the remarks Honorable Member has made.
You know the committee, 4 million per month, 1.2 million per month, Ambassador. Even in Kampala, even Bangladesh, what is it called, these open places for car parks. They just go down here, take a small place, they charge you 10 million per month. For us to have a whole place, you see, in the government, are we really serious? Maybe if we had put it better, first, we give them excess land. Because if it wasn't excess, they would not have subleased. Having given them excess, there's no reason why. For them, because that's why they're not doing anything.
And Mr. Chairman, they've put up permanent structures, storage.
49 years I will put up, right? 49 is a normal lease. A normal lease is 49 what?
That's the information I have for you.
Okay, fine. But you do what you have agreed. Let us move on. So, accounting officer, we quickly, we have to finish this work today. Because you know, the roadmaps are out, scientific exercises are on. And we must leave when we're done. So what was your budget of 27? Now we're looking at item number 5. What was your budget? How did you implement it? What are the issues? So that's to deal with budget implementation.
Oops, sorry.
Yes. I am with you.
May I ask?
No, yeah, those are your people. In fact, that's your property. You're free to use it as you want.
Thank you, Chair.
Chair, the budget was 51,307,044,981 shillings.
Yeah, go ahead. So what did you get? How did you deal with it?
The actual that was released to the ministry was 48,474,000,000.
474, 475.
For 74.
For what?
74.
What did you get? What did you get? I thought you got 48,475.
74.
No. Maybe we go like this. On page 12, you have taxes 0, isn't it?
Page
12 of your account. We need to run quickly because we may not be saying. At least that's what we were saying. A statement of appropriation account based on nature of expenditure. Isn't it? This one. Isn't this your book? Is this your book, accounting officer? I hope this is your signature.
It is.
Are you saying it's for you have what?
48,474,900.
We have 48,475. No. We start from above. Here. What do you have there?
48,475,836.
Is that what you got? What about non-tax revenues? How much?
107
107
million.
So you have 107 non-tax revenue. Then this 48. Are you getting it?
Yes.
Okay. Now that means if we start with deal with that. What was your budget?
The budget was 51,307,000,000.
What was released? What was available?
Availed. Warranted was 51,241,271,595.
Yeah. What does that mean?
That is unspent balance.
Yeah. That means you have the money available.
Yes.
The warrant means it was available.
Yes.
So what did you spend? What did you get actual? What did you request?
The actual was 48 billion.
You give it 48?
48, 470,
471?
4,
No.
475,
475.
836, 777.
777. All together?
Yes.
Yeah. So now, let us deal with that. You had a warrant of 51.2, but you only spent 48.7.
Yes.
Why? And yet you also had asked for a budget of 53.3. So there are two issues here. If we gave you 53.3, you would not. You will have a problem. We gave you 51.2.
It was 51.3.
51.3.
Yes.
But we gave you 51.2. You only spent 48.4. 7. 4.75. We start from there.
Yeah, there's a challenge on the major on the pensioners, foreign pensioners, who are yet to be verified.
So the problem was what? Pensioners.
Yes.
Are you saying the under-absorption was because of pension? Just state it clearly. Say it is pension.
Commissioner Etal can carry on the issue. Commissioner Human Resources.
You have to. We are now with your number.
Yes.
We want to say the difference between 51.241 and 48.475 is a result of pension. We first deal with that.
Yes.
Confirm.
The details can be.
First confirm.
Yes.
The difference between 51.24 is a result of what?
There was pensioners, and then there was 4 million. 4 million, I think that was a bounce payment, I think. But majorly it was
Accounting officer, what we want to deal with first is that we gave you money, which warranted minutes is available. But instead of spending it, you spent less. Now we must solve the problem at that time. What made you not spend all when it had been made available? And that's what we want to deal with. Is that okay?
Yes.
So now, under absorption was due. So the under absorption was due to what?
Foreign pensioners. Foreign pensioners.
Due to foreign?
Unverified foreign pensioners.
So it was basically pension.
Pension, yes.
That was all. Commissioner, they asked you to confirm. Put on that microphone, it must be recorded.
Yes, Chair.
These were pensioners.
These were pensioners because when Minister of Public Service decentralized pensioners, all the money was sent to Minister of Foreign Affairs. So at the time, because this category of pensioners were living abroad, verification had not taken place.
How long did the verification take? I thought when they were giving it to you, the people had already been verified.
No, unfortunately, no, not for the foreign pensioners. These are pensioners who served government of Uganda but are living abroad. They are living in 3 main cities: London, New Delhi, and Nairobi.
Are they Ugandan?
No, they are not Ugandan. Those in India are Indians. Then in Kenya we have a mix of Kenyans and Indians. And then in London we also have a mix of British and Indians at the same time.
This was served during colonial time?
Yeah, they served, yes. Some during colonial time, some during the some were serving in the East African community.
Is that all? Yes, come. It's my sister.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to find out whether Uganda also has citizens based in other countries and they are being paid pension by those other countries. Just left other people to come and work here, and now we are paying them pension, and for us none of our people is working in those countries and is benefiting from pension. Like now, Mr. Chairman, we are having with the problem of sugar, where Kenya doesn't want our sugar, and yet for us we buy their things.
You buy your UHT.
Mr. Chairman, I wouldn't have that information. At least the one I know is the people who worked for either East African community or Uganda government and were on our payroll, for whom we have an obligation to pay. Now, for the others,
you have made your case. You are saying if somebody worked for UK government, it was his arrangement with the UK government. If he's in Uganda, he's being paid a pension, if you worked for World Bank and you are getting your pension, Ministry of Foreign Affairs does not need to know. These ones are the ones who are within our service. So saying that because you are an Indian, we should also have a Ugandan in India, I don't think it may be possible, maybe, if it is maybe government to government. I think that's what they are saying. Okay, so now, you are saying it was only pension. Okay. We want to deal with non-tax revenue first again. It is 107. Did you collect 107? Put on your microphone. Yes. When you collect, is it cash?
It's paid to URA, like URA.
Can we go to page 9? A bit behind, only just 2 pages, 3 pages behind. Page 9 of your accounts. Are you there? No, we have been on 12. Now just go 1, 2, just 2, 3. That's page 9, isn't it?
Yes.
It says what? Cash what? Cash flow. What is non-tax revenue there?
There's 105.
Page 12 shows how much?
107.
So 105 is equal to 107. So what is it? We're just waiting for you to tell us. Have you seen it? Accounting officer, yes. So you just help us to understand.
So I think I need to reconcile this.
You need to reconcile.
Yes.
So we allow you to reconcile. I thought will you reconcile?
Find exactly what caused the difference. Find exactly what caused the difference.
So, accounting officer, we're going to leave you with to look at reconciliation. We discovered you collected 107,263,302, but you remitted 105,549,100, and you must show us the safe where this money is. The safe of the balance.
Chair, this 107 is the figure with URA. We don't collect any cash.
Yes, I hope you are getting it.
Yes.
For us, what we are saying in the cash flow, what you accounted for is 105. Yet here non-tax revenue is 107. Whether you ask URA to remit some to your account somewhere, you will confirm to us. Whether it is a safe in foreign affairs which keeps some NPR, you will show us.
Mr. Chairman, all the entities have been saying URA collects revenue on their behalf. I don't know whether you just take everything from URA as gospel truth. For example, if the taxes reflected in your books is 107, and then again there is another figure of 105, don't you try to seek clarification from URA who collects those monies so that it is harmonized?
Chair, if I may explain, what I vividly recollect is there is an adjustment which, as we are reviewing the NTR with the Treasury,
No, the member has asked, do you reconcile?
Yes.
Fine.
And
So we have assumed to reconcile.
Yes.
But we're saying after reconciling, you have to what? Two figures. You have 107 signed by Ambassador Patrick Mugoya. You have 107, 105 on page 9 signed by Ambassador Mugoya. 107 signed by Ambassador Mugoya. Unless there are two Ambassador Mugoyas.
No. Chair, that's what I want to explain. As we are doing the review of the reconciliation with the Treasury, this is when this figure changed from 107. So the correct figure is 107. It's just that here it was an oversight that we forgot to adjust it. This was the figure in the initial.
You see, but if it's an oversight, you said what's your name?
Sumba Lawrence.
Sumba Lawrence. Okay. Let us assume it's an oversight. If it's an oversight, there will be when we used to do accounts in our level, we would do, in our own mind, create what we call a suspense account, which was wrong. Now let us look at it. If you go down, you get 900 and what? 28,000. I think. Yes, that is your cash equivalent. If you go to the next page, page 10. You are saying net cash flow 928.
Yes.
At the end of the year 928.
Yes.
If you go to the balance sheet on page now another page, the page 8. Or from 9 we're going to page 8. I think cash and the cash equivalent. There's 9 to what? 8. So if it was an oversight in the cash flow, there would be no way this balance sheet would have worked.
Sure. When you look at the cash flow, when you are making the cash flow, the figure for NTR, the upper part, when you look at the cash flow from operating activities, we report it, and at the same time, it comes out. Before we go to the on which we apply what we receive from the Treasury. Yes.
And that's what we're saying.
And,
if you remove the 105,
yes,
that's why you got 98. But it is 107. It means there was a difference of about 2 million, which would have appeared in our balance sheet.
No, if you could look at page 9 again. When you look at the cash flow from operating activities.
Actually, and we are saying we got 105.
There's 105, and at the same time, it comes out as 105 before you move to the expenditure side.
Where have I put it?
So, after reconciling the Treasury, the figure, we bring it in the cash flow. At the same time, it moves out before we go to the expenditure side. And that's why the cash flow balance.
Yeah, but what we're saying, you have two NTR. You had said the right thing that you wanted time, but now you're trying to explain. As far as we're explaining, we're not going to agree, because even if you're going to remove, you should have removed 107. You should have entered 107 and removed 108.
Maybe we'll give you some time.
No, for us, we have told you we're not looking for faults. But
the correct figure is that
as far as we're concerned, the correct figure is 105. And the correct figure is 107. No? I hope you understand me.
yes, we are going to adjust here.
No, you don't need to adjust. We needed to understand what happened here and what happened here.
The 105 is the one which appeared in the first draft.
We're not there. No. For us, this is called final what?
Account.
It's not called the final draft. What again? Is this final draft? These are final accounts. So I think we want to give you an opportunity to tell us what it is, because these are your accounts you have published. And the cash flow is a very important item. Why? If we see 105, we must track it for all the NTR we collected in all government entities and the total them. Why? You see us here, we're totaling all the NTR all over the what? The entities, and we must confirm. Are you okay?
Yes.
How long should we give you? Today. I'm giving you today. Maybe since you have talked about reconciliation issues, can we look at your trial balance? It looks like this. You remember that number? It's after page 1. After page 1. No pages. In fact, after liabilities, the pensions, I think, those which you are giving. It's like this. Okay. It is called, I think, a trial balance for the current period. You have seen it?
Yes.
Okay, you see transfers received from ministries. They are saying you received 58.8 billion.
58.
And then you removed 10.3 billion. Then you got a balance of 40.8475. So where did you put the 10 billion?
What received is 48.
No, but it's here.
Those are systems, but what received...
No, but for us we can't know that these are systems. You are the one to tell us what is this.
The actual receipt from is 48.
So now, also tell us, you have to reconcile, tell us what was this 10 billion.
No, that one, yeah.
Eh?
You need a figure, I know it's 48.
Yeah, so what you do, you have to ask the account, you are offered or the accountant or the PSST to tell us what is this 10.3 billion. Because this is attached to your account. No, we're not doing what. We want to give you time.
Yeah, this one, I'm very sure we'll send 48.
Okay, you receive 40. You just go and tell them that when we went to the committee, they're saying we received 58, we deducted the 10. Take some coffee, Ambassador. And they're saying confirm where we put the 10. Do you know why we're looking for that 10? Supposing even the Minister of Finance used your account to take money elsewhere, we must track it. Are we together? Do you understand it? Because they said that you got 58, there were debits of 10, you had a balance of 48. What really happened? Ambassador, it is very interesting the performance. What happened to scholarships? Why don't you give students scholarships? Why? Are they for your relatives or whatever? No, not you, but those stuff. Because you can see here, scholarships were too many. They were not given. They were never declared. Yes. You're not aware. You know, we are looking for...
With your permission, come with the right person.
Yeah. Did he want them for his children and brothers? Yes.
You can say something about scholarships when you're ready.
No, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I'll first say the scholarships were not for my children or relatives. But just to clarify, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs does not issue scholarships. Scholarships correctly are channeled through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs from the various partners that we engage with on the international arena. Some of them are bilateral in that they come from individual countries. Others may come from multilateral institutions. If I'm to refer to the paper on queries themselves,
Yeah, that's what I want to do. You see, we are going to do back, forth, and in the end we must finish.
yes, the table that is presented there, containing scholarships from these European countries, Berlin, Germany, Belgium, and Italy, those scholarships actually are not particularly offered to the Republic of Uganda. Those scholarships were offered to developing countries, of which Uganda is one of them. So it is not to say that these are scholarships that were offered to Uganda and Uganda failed to take them up.
It is saying we got 339 scholarships, but we only took 91. They have not said they were offered to developing what? Countries. Why would they give us what does not belong to us?
That's the impression I'm trying to correct, Mr. Chairman.
You had the management. Why did you say this is what the this is what the accounting officer said?
That's the impression I'm trying to correct, Mr. Chairman. The scholarships that you see there as having been offered by those...
No, the accounting officer agrees. He says the only problem we have, they are either sent to Minister of Education or Central whatever, or the MDS. That's what he's saying. He has not denied that there were not 300 from these 4 countries. They have not denied there were 339 scholarships
on offer, but not specifically to the Republic of Uganda. There are scholarships that are received by the Republic of Uganda and sent to the Ministry of Education and Sports to manage through the Central Scholarships Committee. There are quite a number. There are countries, and I can list some of those countries.
Okay, let us start with the first one. Berlin, Berlin gave us 75. We got 0. So these 75 were not for Uganda.
They were offered to developing countries, of which Uganda...
So did Uganda have any in this one?
It is now up to individual persons to apply for these scholarships. Every individual that is eligible within the developing countries can apply. That's what I'm saying. They are not specifically meant for Uganda.
Chairman, procedure.
Yeah, procedure, Mary.
Mr. Chairman, we have a table before us, and according to his explanation, it's like the statistics here is not for Uganda. Why would they give us data which does not concern us? Why are they giving us data which is general for developing countries? Are we proceeding right, Mr. Chairman, to handle an issue which is not directly concerning us, because it is now mixing us up?
The way we're saying it, you're saying these were scholarships meant for the developing countries. Then is the Auditor General mad to raise that these were ours?
Mr. Chairman, I would wish to see a letter of offer saying that these scholarships were particularly offered to Uganda. And I'm saying we have not received that in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
So Berlin, you don't know it, the 75?
What we know is that these scholarships from Europe were offered to developing countries.
Now, when you got them, where did you put them?
Now, these ones were not sent particularly to Uganda. These ones are offered and advertised online by these offering countries.
Mr. Chairman, maybe what I want to understand, if we are Ugandans and these offers are for developing countries, who takes care of the interest of Ugandans? And who is supposed to see that Ugandans benefit?
Mr. Chairman, there are many countries globally that offer scholarships.
Exactly.
And these scholarships at times are offered bilaterally, like I said, where a country like Malaysia will make a written offer to the Republic of Uganda to say we are granting you 28 scholarships in the field of medicine or science. Those ones are delivered directly to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and we pass them on to the Ministry of Education and Sports to manage. But globally, very many countries offer scholarships, and these are advertised online for developing countries.
No, but
And many of these actually come out of Europe. These are not governmentally managed scholarships. They are offered to every individual that is eligible in those developing countries,
that one
including Uganda.
we've understood now.
Yes.
They are offered to eligible. When the PS, when your accounting officer said that we promote trade, commerce, I think whatever, admissions. Now, the purpose is that when you're in that country, the information you get, which is part of foreign affairs, is now made available to the people of what? Uganda. Like for me, from Osama again in Sironko, I can only know that something is there because I have no internet, maybe by reading a newspaper, by being an advert saying on radio that there are scholarships in the ministry altogether. So now for you to leave this now, we want to assume what again we never saw, what you're talking. Show us these four entities, the 75, the 100, the 104, what did you receive and how did you make it known to the people of Uganda?
Like I have said, Chair, there are many countries across the globe that advertise offers to developing countries. It's not just these three countries that you see here. There are very many. And every individual in these developing countries is free to apply as long as they are eligible.
That one we have agreed. That one we have agreed. We have assumed these were for developing what? Countries. Now where we're going next, since you Minister of Foreign Affairs or our embassy knew about it, show us how did me from Sironko in Osama Gende village know that Berlin has advertised 75 scholarships for us who are from developing countries who can compete, and if we compete, we have chances.
Mr. Chairman, we perhaps as a ministry did not communicate to the people in Mbale over these offers.
I think it is. I think, Mr. Chairman, there may be a gap from the discussion, which is it is our responsibility as a ministry to source out opportunities, be it bilateral, regionally, international, and flash them for the knowledge of the population that in UK there's something like this. If you can try, in Russia there's this. Yeah, the bilateral ones are correct, but whatever information you have, there may be no internet in Butareja also.
Exactly. So I was worried that Butareja is well internet connected.
I want to add.
So on that one, we have to do more work.
I want to add, Mr. Chairman, if you sit in an office, you look at your citizens and you know that my citizens must benefit from this. You've got information, not everybody is on online.
Oh, who knows
These people who want to benefit, they need to get this information so that they apply. If you don't do it, then you are useless to us. You are not assisting the nation.
So that's why now we want you to accounting officer. We want to know who is this one who saw the opportunity for us also to compete. It's like a Rotary, show me which Rotary has high chances of getting something. I'm sure Ugandans are very intelligent people, by the way. They would compete out of 75 would have got maybe 1. Out of 100 would have got 2. Well, that's what we're trying to put across. So now what we want you to do for us to be able to do, because we must solve this problem once and for all. 1, we have picked 4 countries. We want you to give us who received these scholarships, who saw the scholarships, and what did he do or did she do? We know that's what who is responsible, because you have said who is responsible for these scholarships. And what happened to informing people of Uganda to compete? Accounting officer, this is a serious matter, and we need to know, because you pay your staff, don't you pay them salary? Don't you pay those ambassadors? Don't you pay those commissioners here in the headquarters? If you pay them, we'll be happy to, at least with the radio, to say, I listened on one radio, they were saying there was scholarship in agriculture, and they want people who know how to grow rice, and I competed and I won or lost. Thank you. So we're giving you, to go and do this, we shall give you 7 days. Are we together? Yes. So accounting officer, we will jump until we finish our work. We want to look at page 12. Where we came from. Are we there? Thank you. You have asked your staff to assist you. It's okay. You are free to use it. Now, if you look at domestic areas, what was your budget and what did you pay? You can put on the microphone.
6.7 billion.
And you paid what?
16.
No, we say 6.7, you paid 6.7.
No, this is in the appropriation.
So we can say that one's okay.
But
now you have asked your question, now go there.
Yes, Chair. Yeah, during the course of the year, we received another 9 billion.
You received 9 billion.
Yeah, to clear African Union areas. And when they were releasing, it was released on the contribution to international organization item. At the close of the year, we had to adjust it to reduce the areas, the 9 billion which was released.
Show us evidence where we approved an additional of 9 billion areas. Colleagues, it is page 12 and page 9.
Mr. Chairman, we were given additional funding to clear Minister of Finance to clear indebtedness to the African Union Commission.
So you were given additional funding of 9 billion to clear areas.
The African Union has now very stringent sanctions on non-payments of contributions, and we have reached a point where even our voting and talking rights were being threatened. So we are appealed for additional funding to be able to bring our membership in good state. It's a challenge we still face. As we discuss, you will see we were given only 9 billion in a year for contributions to international organizations, and yet we need about 25 billion just to be able to pay our normal contributions. So it's a recurring problem. And so sometimes you reach a stage you are going to have an AU summit and you can't participate and we have to appeal. It is a recurrent thing. Actually, that's one area where I'll be appealing for support too. We cannot continue like this. The areas keep growing, then we address them piecemeal. Where the pressure is, you deal with that. Dig one hole to cover another one. It's a big challenge. But that's how we operate. So sometimes when the pressure is too much, we will have that kind of support to address. It doesn't solve the problem. It can ameliorate it at that time. But we need a lasting solution, which is an adequate provision of funds to cover all those things. This is one organization, but there are also others.
Accounting officer, 2 issues here. One, why it has become, it is looking very funny, we see which we want to agree. That first of all, domestic areas, you should have revised the budget. Are you getting it? Then you pay. We shall take that to another level. But the other point is that the question is, if this house, I'm renting it at 1 million per month for you to use, I have given you this house to use, then I give you 500,000. What do you put in the budget? 500,000 or 1 million?
I need to put the 1 million.
Exactly.
Which is what I should get.
You should put 1 million. Then when you put 1 million and I give you 500,000, the area of 500,000 will be approved. You say, yes, you are aware. These are contractual obligations. So, contractual must be in the budget.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with you. The challenge is, year in, year out, you are given, this is your ceiling for contributions. You've been given 9 billion. How do I put in the 20 billion? that remains there as an unfunded priority.
Now you're talking, what it would be now, it would be a liability which has crystallized, but you have allowed me only this. Hey, are you getting it? I hope you know what I'm saying. It's a liability which has crystallized. Whether I want it or not, I will incur it. Cash is different from what I have signed for. Either it is equal to cash or it's more than what? Cash. So now why you're having all these queries is as the result of you not putting everything. Because the next query we're going to put it to you is your budget was 51. You got it. Why did you incur debts of 12.5 billion?
I think maybe I need help here. If this is the figure I'm given, budget within this, can I budget bigger than that?
But we have an agreement. You know an agreement?
Yes, I agree.
We want to make it simple. Supposing government has rented a house from Musudir at 1 million per month. At the end of the year, it will be 12 what?
12 million.
Do you have to budget for 4 million? No, let us be realistic to one another here. This is a contractual obligation. You're going to use Sudir's house and you're supposed to pay 12 million. Do you budget 4? You budget for 12. If you get 4, the 6 will remain, whatever the balance will be.
And then the area.
Area. That one has been approved. But if you budget for 4, then you go and incur an additional 8, which is not approved. It's a crime. You accounting officer. That's why we're going. Parliament. So that's why I want to give you section C.